Good afternoon, this is Dominic with TheBackVlog. Recently, I finished The Bizarre World of Fake Video Games by Super Eyepatchwolf, a YouTuber. This is a book written by a YouTuber that I like. This book is really good, and frankly, it's a great coffee table book. And the only reason I say that is because it's too big to fit on my bookshelf, so I'm just gonna put it on my coffee table. But you know, I was showing pages of it during my media acquisition video, but like it's just like a great art book too. Like there's so much like cool like art in here, not just like of the artists like making these fake video games, but like the actual like layout of these pages. What this is a you know, it's like an art gallery of, I guess, like artists making video games, fake video games through their art, be it a fake soundtrack. Well, not like a fake soundtrack, a real soundtrack for a fake video game, or like real screenshots for a fake video game. And, you know, this YouTuber, Super Eyepatchwolf, you know, he's made video essays on it and everything. But what he does here is compile a bunch of them and format them in a way similar to an old school video game magazine from back in the day. So like you have these magazine articles that are super nostalgic, and you don't really see much of those things anymore. That's not to say they're not around, by the way. People are sleeping on the magazine section of Barnes & Noble. Just go there. You need to go there. So you have these fake magazine articles in these fake magazines for these fake video games. And that concept is wild in and of itself, but what he does here is also incredible. There's like a storyline going on here, and there's like three main characters, and there's so much like mystery to be unraveled. And in these magazine articles, there's like this constant implication of a greater threat and how it ties into the real world that we live in. You know, I think it's an incredible piece of like metafiction a little bit. I don't really want to get into spoilers because I think you should read this book. It's a really fun read. The three writers writing these articles in here have such distinct voices and personal tastes. And it's really interesting to see the development of technology and video game history in this alternate universe. And it's terrifying to consider the dimension bending story that's going on here. This thing is kind of like taking like an SCP approach, because in the pages of the book, you know, you have like these like archive like folders with like categorization and everything, and like, you know, these are some pages of the magazine articles here. But it's like every single like, I guess, chapter is like a new entry in this case file, this greater case file. And you know, you have like items that are redacted, and some of it's like written very clinically, especially like the ending, like the last entry of this book. But yeah, it's just really interesting the way that it's written. And I don't know. It says like volume 1 here. It says UDWFG volume 1, and I don't remember what that stands for. And I don't know if there's going to be more entries written by Super Eyepatchwolf, if that's something that he has in mind, or if there are other like essay writers who are going to write under this novelized or serialized set of books. So the three characters that we have here are Sarah Ward, Zachary Parker, I think his last name is. No, Zach Peterson, and Gary Dickman. And like I said, they each have their own writing styles and video game preferences. Gary's video game preference is incredible, to say the least. If he was real, he would love to give a few examples. I mean, obviously he would love Resident Evil. He would love cheesy Sega CD games with really bad voice acting. I can't think of any. I'll put a list of games next to me that that what the fuck is his name? I'll put a list of games right next to my head that Gary Dickman would love if he were real. His introduction in here when he's talking about the game Ghostbleed is so fucking funny. It's one of the funniest things I've read this year. And the communication that he has like with his editor in here is like there's like a distinct relationship going on, and everybody at this magazine seems sick of his shit, but like they can't just fire him, you know. I would have loved to have seen how Gary even got this job, because his writing style is so jocular and just unsophisticated. He's got like random capitalization, and he's constantly swearing, and it's incredible. It's so good. When we get to the section of the book where we start to talk about the games of a fictional developer, Lumpy Touch, which is actually the name of the artist. That's like the artist's pseudonym in real life, making these fake video games. You know, things just like start taking a turn for the creepy, because now you're starting to kind of like hear like the concern a little bit in the voices of the magazine authors. There are things that are like happening, like what Super Eye Patch Wolf here is doing is kind of like laying the pieces for like this grander, basically apocalyptic scenario. But then you have like the video game catalog of Lumpy Touch that may or may not even exist in this universe. The whole thing reads like a creepypasta almost, and you know, after that the entries just get more and more like uncomforting, and the writers write with a very in a very worrisome tone. And then when we get to the final entry, when it talks about Plastiboo's Vermis, which is an incredible fake video game strategy guide that you can pick up right now on holopress.net. This video is not sponsored by holopress.net, but those books are good, and this book is also really good. I'm not going to talk about like what Super Eye Patch Wolf does to approach that, but what I will say is that there is so much more, or there's so much more contextualizing for the rest of this book. And this thing is it's just enigmatic. I love this book. I really do. It smells so good. Robin is bothering me, and I can't really concentrate. But I also don't want to like spoil aspects of this, because I would like for people interested in this to read this. It's a really quick read. It's a really fun read. It's really creepy. It's very inspiring. And he has in the back here basically the social media handles of all of the featured artists, which I think is also really incredible. So like if there's anything in here that you're ever interested in like actually seeing, and if there's like art here that speaks to you, there's a directory in the back of it, and I think that's awesome. I think that's really cool. I really hope he does something like this again. This is a beautiful book, and this is a beautiful entry to my coffee table book collection. But yeah, that's The Bizarre World of Fake Video Games by Super Eye Patch Wolf.